It's going to take forever to film, oh my god. Hello and welcome to this massive book haul. I hope you brought some time with you because this is going to be a fucking long video. I'll try to make it short, but can't promise you anything because there are just so many books to show you and talk about. Without any more chit-chatting, let's just get straight into the video and let's make some space on the right so that I can show you the covers. Alright, I think that should do it. Okay, so the first book is this, which is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll, and it's illustrated by Rosie Thorne. I bought it on the website Litjoy, so this has been sold out by now. It had very limited amount of copies, but I'm very happy to say that I got one because I do collect Alice in Wonderland books and this just fits perfectly into my collection. I filmed a video just about this edition, so if you're curious on how the illustrations look like, there are also some pop-up elements in there, and it's just a very pretty edition to have. Yeah, for the cover, that's how it looks like, and I just love this cutout in the middle. As you can see, this is what the end papers look like inside, so yeah, very cool. Then the next one is the latest book by Benjamin Lacombe and Sébastien Pérez, which is about stories told from female perspectives and female samurai warriors. So I read it already, loved it. The illustrations by Lacombe are exquisite as always, and I really like the stories as well. We've got all kinds of time periods in here. They are chronologically ordered, and a lot of notes on some of the Japanese names and places and just general words. And 2 introductions. I really love the one by Lacombe himself, which just talks about why they are writing about it, why it is an important topic to write about, and I totally agree with that. It is very important, loved it. The introduction is almost better than the stories themselves. I don't know, I got emotional for a second there, I don't know why, but yeah, the stories are very good. They are all quite different, although they all feature female samurai. They are still different and talk about different historical times and events and just roads of lives. So yeah, really enjoyed that. We've got a lot of illustrations in here, and what's also very cool is that they used a lot of silver in this book, so it just looks very luxurious. Love that about it, and the cover's always amazing as well. If you have the whole collection that looks like that, it just looks so good together. Oh, and by the way, I have not filmed a video for this one, but for Alice, if I didn't mention that already. So I'll show you just a few inside pages for this one. Alright, the next one is from a series of annotated books, this time of classic fairy tales by different authors. So we've got the Brothers Grimm in here, but also Andersen and so many more. So at the bottom it says that there's Little Red Riding Hood in here, Beauty and the Beast, Jack and the Beanstalk, Blackbeard, Bluebeard, and many more. So you always have the stories themselves in here, but then also illustrations, just pictures in general of all kinds of stuff, and annotations that talk about the story. I have the Alice in Wonderland edition as well, and now I have this classic fairy tales one, so I'm very excited to read it. It's just such a beautiful book, but it'll take a lot of time to read through the whole book because there's so much text in it and so many pages. The next one is this huge box, which includes this beauty right here. A very large, very heavy book that you could kill someone with if you had to. And this is the book, The Ultimate Guide to Rebuilding Civilization, which is basically just a non-fiction book about all kinds of branches. So we've got medicine in here, we've got electricity, got art, games, just basic necessities of life like making fire, or what kind of plants you can eat, how do you get water to drink, how do you make a rope. Got all kinds of food in here as well, and just so many things. It's 400 pages long, and it's filled with colored illustrations on every single page. So yeah, it's just a beautiful thing to look at, but also to learn a thing or two. I'm currently reading it. I just started it yesterday night, so I'm not far into it, but so far it's a very nice book. Mostly for the illustrations, but if there's a thing or two that I can learn from it, I'll be glad to do so. And again, for this one, I do have a dedicated video on my channel to show how the illustrations look like inside. The next up, we've got the official handbook for the magical world of Harry Potter. I think it has a slightly different title in English, but this is the German translated edition that I also read and loved. I mean, just looking at this cover can tell you that this is filled with so many beautiful pages. We've got, I think, 5 or 6 different illustrators for this one, and as I've said, really every single page is a work of art. And along the way you also read about basically everything that the world of Harry Potter has to give. Like, we've got all the classes in here, subjects, all the characters, all kinds of fun facts, all the places, all the spells, all the plants and animals. Like, really, there's everything in here. I loved it very much. At the beginning I even got emotional just because of the nostalgia that was kicking in, and there are a lot of quotes in there as well, so it felt like being in that world again. And again, this is quite a long book because there's a lot of illustrations to look at, a lot of text to look at, so it'll take you time to go through the whole book, but it was very fun and I can only recommend it. These are the illustrators. And there are also, I think, 3 special pages like this one, similar to the Lacombe one. This one featuring a forbidden forest. These next 2 books are quick ones because I've shown you the editions in detail and what they are about in a video where I unboxed the Fairyloot book box from November, so this is where those come from. No, I think they are even the December ones, and the November ones are somewhere in the large stack as well. So these should be the December ones. On the left, the adult one, which is about fae and elves, I think. Sounds like a very cool fantasy book and looks amazing. And the one on the right is the young adult one, which is set in 19th century Egypt with rivals to lovers. We've got adventure in there and also ancient magic. So yeah, love historical fantasy, so I'm really excited for the one on the right. Now this one is the Waterstones exclusive edition of The Scarlet Veil by Shelby Mahurin, maybe, which is a vampire fantasy with romance, I'm pretty sure. Love that cover, and I know Fairyloot did an edition as well, but I don't know, I prefer this one. So we've got a beautiful cover, spine, which doesn't want to focus again. Love that for me. Back and the sprayed edges. And then naked hardback as well. So yeah, love vampire books, hope this one's a good one as well. The next 3 books are all part of the same trilogy, not even series, it's a trilogy by Julie Kagawa. First one's called Shadow of the Fox. I think the whole series is called Shadow of the Fox as well. And these are German special editions of this YA fantasy series that I got from Bücherbüchse, and again, I have a video showing you these editions on my channel. I just love translucent dust jackets, so I had to have these. And I haven't read the series yet, but it's fantasy, has some mythology in there, it's Asian inspired, so I hope it's going to be good. The next few books will all be illustrated, short but beautiful books that I all read. So these are fairy tales, new stories, non-fiction even, and I'll show you what they look like now. Starting with Baba Yaga and Vasilisa the Brave. And this is illustrated by KY Craft, which does phenomenal artwork. And I haven't read the story before, so was excited to get to know the story, and I loved it. I especially loved the little doll in that story. She's just precious. Cutest character for a while that I have read about. So just exceptional artwork right here. Every single page is just so beautiful. And that's the doll I was talking about, isn't she? The best. So this is I think a Russian folk tale, and it follows Vasilisa, as you can see her right here. It starts off very much like Cinderella, but it goes into a unique and different direction. Talking about Baba Yaga, I think we all know the bad witch everyone's afraid of. So yeah, I really liked it, loved the ending, and again, as I said, the doll was just precious. The next one is also illustrated by KY Craft. This is Beauty and the Beast, inspired by Beaumont's original tale. And again, it's just super pretty. Then we've also got the Little Mermaid, illustrated by Charles Santoro. Again, so pretty. And it's also quite large. And I also have his Snow White book, illustrated by Charles Santoro again. Not a fan of the depiction of the dwarves, but I mean, just this one page, look at it, it's so cool. And the last fairy tale book is Sleeping Beauty, which is illustrated by Charlotte Gusto, which is inspired by the ballet by Petipa and Tchaikovsky. So the illustrations look like a stage performance, and again, it's quite large. Doesn't have a lot of text in it, mostly just pictures, and here at the bottom we've got text. And there's also these special pages. Now this next one looks tiny and innocent, but I will not be able to show you the whole thing because it's structured as a libretto, meaning you can just put these whole pages in a very long line. So this one's Metamorphosis, which hasn't been translated into English or German as far as I know. So we've got on the one side where you can pull out all the pages, the text by Barbara Canepa, and on the other side the text by Benjamin Lacombe, and the illustrations are all by Marco Mazzoni. And this basically just talks about the cycle of life, about metamorphosis, and it doesn't matter on which side you'll start reading the book, but once you get to the end of one, you can just go and look at the other side, which is upside down. Perfect. And read the other half. So we've got black and white stuff, but also color, and it also goes into a slight surreal direction. I mean, the individual pictures look great, but if you're able to fold it out, not like that, but flat, it just looks so much cooler. Look at these little cute froggies. The next one is a non-fiction book about space, and this is a unique format and has beautiful illustrations in there, all the basic information that you would need about our planets and asteroids and stars. So it's just a very beautiful edition. Oh yeah, and we've got pages to open, transparent pages, and just panoramas. This right here is a transparent page, for example. Yeah, it just goes through all the most important things. It was a panorama, transparent page, and something to open to look at the whole lineup of the planets. And the last one, again, super huge format, doesn't fit into any of my shelves, is Terra Ultima, which reads like non-fiction, but it is fantasy. So it's written by Raul de Leo and compiled and introduced by Noah J. Stern. And it's basically talking about a person who has found a hidden continent on our planet and just researching it. There are all kinds of interesting creatures on here, which are fusions of different animals. So on the left we've got a swan snake, you could say, for example. And here we've got a snail giraffe. So yeah, all kinds of fun stuff to look at in here. And it's also a very good story. I hope that there's going to be a second part to it, but it would make sense if there's not as well. Again, this one also goes into a surreal direction. Some of these illustrations look very, very interesting for sure. Yeah, this is the mouse fish, love it, it's so cute. A lot of cute stuff in here as well. So we have 3 different expeditions, they're all introduced by a landscape in black and white. And then we've got a lot of text for the story. And then also colored illustrations of some of the creatures that the person has seen and sketched. So all kinds of fun stuff. Oh yeah, this one's one of my favorites as well. So it also talks about just the expedition, what he's doing, what he's experiencing, how he got there. But yeah, big focus is on these creatures as well. So cool. Coral leopard, like imagining that stuff in the first place is genius, really. So yeah, these are some short books that I already read and loved every single one of them. These next 3 books are the original Red Rising trilogy by Fairyloot. It's their new iron edition of them that I just had to get. I don't have the other Fairyloot editions, and I only had paperbacks in the German translation, so I'm really happy to now have a beautiful hardcover edition in English for this trilogy. Again, I haven't read it, but it's a very well beloved and well known science fiction fantasy series that I'm super excited about. I heard that the beginning reads like a Hunger Games novel, so super excited for that part, and I hope everything else will be just up my alley as well, of course. So it starts off with, I think, some miners on Mars. That alone sounds super interesting, I think, so very excited to read them. I've heard great things about Pierce Brown's books, so yes. love these editions. I have a video showing you what they look like because they are just very beautiful, especially the spread edges. Love those. Now these two books are mythology books by different authors, and they don't have anything to do with each other. They are just mythology books about Greek mythology. Okay, that is a similarity for sure. So on the left we've got Psyche and Eros by Luna McNamara. Oh god, so sorry. And this is, well, a retelling of Psyche and Eros, which is a very tragic tale, but it's also very beautiful in my opinion. So very excited about reading that because it's also something that hasn't been retold that much. So it'll probably feel fresh and new and exciting. And on the right we've got Circe by Madeline Miller, which is this new edition that resembles the one from Song of Achilles as well. I got that, which is a blue version of this. So yeah, just had to have the one for Circe as well. I also have a different, very beautiful hardcover edition of Circe, but I don't know, I just had to have both of these. I love these covers. I love mythology books, so I can't have too many anyways, and really excited about those two. I haven't read them. I've read Song of Achilles, but not Psyche and Eros or Circe. And Circe as well is something that hasn't been retold too much in comparison to all the Trojan War stuff, where you've got like 10 books just focusing on that. So yeah, very excited about these two. Love me some witches, so Circe is probably going to be super interesting. And if you didn't know, Psyche and Eros is about two people. Psyche, just a normal woman, and Eros is a god of love, and they meet and fall in love, but Psyche is not allowed to look at Eros because then stuff would happen, but she's curious. I mean, who wouldn't? And then Circe is about a female witch. I mean, witches are always female, right? Well, that was unnecessary. So it's about a witch on an island living a peaceful life, but people get there from time to time, and she might not be too friendly if there is a man coming to her island. Yeah, I think everyone knows about Circe, so just love to have a retelling about her. Next up we've got a very tiny book, which is a collection of Russian fairy tales, and this is from the German Nicole publishing house, which publishes very beautiful looking but also very affordable editions of classics. So we've got fairy tales but also classics in the terms of maybe Pride and Prejudice and so on, and they all look very good together. They are not always the best translations, but I don't care, they are cheap, so why not get them? And I haven't really read a lot of Russian fairy tales, so I'm really excited about this edition. Some editions also have black and white, classic looking, or even classic illustrations in there, so let's see if this one has. I don't remember. It definitely does. In the inside it says it has fairy tales from Alexander Nikolaevich Afanasyev, oh Jesus, I have no idea how to pronounce it, and August von Löwes of Mena. The illustrations are by Ivan Yakovlevich Bilibin, maybe. Is there a contents page? Yes, but it's in German, so not super helpful probably, and it's not focusing, so no one's able to read it. There you go. And this is the second page of the contents. And then it starts like that. Ah, geez, I didn't hit record. So I was talking about this edition, which is the December, I think, edition of the monthly locked library book. I have a video showing it to you. This is a adult fairy tale book, fairy tale fantasy, and I'm really excited about it. I love the edition, I love me some fairy tales, and I've heard that A.K. Moffat writes very fast-paced, action-packed stories, which isn't really for me, but we will see. I will try this one, since I've never read anything by the author before. The next book is a historical fiction called The Midwife by Tricia Cresswell, and it is set in the, I think, 1880s, probably following this midwife on the cover, and it says it's perfect for readers of The Binding, for example, so probably going to be rather slow-paced, very atmospheric, and yeah, I don't know anything about it. I got it, as most of these books, as a Christmas present, so I don't really know the synopses of most of these books, but I am very excited about it. I love historical fiction, so if it's well done, I'll probably enjoy it. So this is what it says on the back. An authentic medical detailed book. Interesting. A mystery as well. And this is the inside flap. Next are a few middle grade books. So we've got Alone by Megan E. Freeman and also Root Magic by Eden Royce. Love these covers. The one on the left is about a girl who has to survive in the wilderness with her dog. It's written in verse, so really excited about that. Haven't read too many books that are written in verse, but the ones that I enjoyed. And then Root Magic is a fantasy story where two siblings, I think, have to go into this forbidden magical forest to, I don't remember, but it's a beautiful cover, and I do like to read middle grade from time to time. So if you want to know more, there's the synopsis for Alone, and the one for Root Magic is right here. So pretty. And these next two cute middle grades are series, starting with by Ash Oak and I can't read it, Thorn, I think, by Ash Oak and Thorn, and the follow-up is by Rowan and Yu, how do you pronounce that? Both written by Melissa Harrison, and they just look so cute. I have no idea what they were about. I think it's some kind of middle grade adventure fantasy story set in a different world. I don't think it's our world, but I don't know. Or maybe it just follows fantastical little creatures living in our world. So let's see. 3 little people wake from their winter sleep in an old ash tree. Moss, Burnett and Cumulus usually love spring, but their joy turns to worry when they discover that Cumulus is starting to fade away. The trio set off in search of answers, only to discover that they must travel far beyond the countryside to a loud, busy and danger-filled place called the Hive. So yeah, no idea how it is, never heard anything about it, but they just look super cute, and I got it for Christmas, so yay. This next one is the 3rd book in the Blackwater series, which is quite an old story, but it's being republished right now by the German publisher Festa, and it's a horror book. Originally it was being published in 6 parts, but this German edition is just 3 parts, which includes always 2 books. So now after 3 books it should be finished. It's written by Michael McDowell, which I've never heard of before, but I think this is a well-known classic. I just never hear about it. I just know one YouTube channel who's reading the series right now, or is about to. No, I think they have started it. So yeah, I'm really excited about it. It's about this woman who is returning to a city in Alabama and she's bringing evil with her. I have no idea other than that, but I'm super excited. Love these new German covers for it, and yeah, I mean, these are limited editions. I don't think they are even available anymore, so had to get them right now. So this is what it looks like up close. And the back, where it also says that there are only 999 copies of it. The next one is a short story collection called Cursed Bunny by Bora Chung, and it's translated by, Anton Hu. And it's a cursed book as well, not just a cursed bunny. So these are dark short stories. I think they go into a horror direction, but maybe more of a literary horror. I don't know, I haven't read them. I hope they are going to be weird, disgusting, and just dark. That's what I'm hoping for. I know Bora Chung is also coming out with another short story collection, which looks pretty similar to this one. It's just more yellow and with a robot on it, so I'm really excited about that one as well, because one story in that is featuring an elevator who falls in love with one of the residents. Like, what the fuck? So I'm really excited about Bora Chung's stories in general, so I have this one now to check out. And I also know that the translator Anton Hu is also coming out with a science fiction story, which is a beautiful cover, looks amazing, sounds good. So yeah, all sounds very promising. I've heard some people who didn't really enjoy this one, but yeah, I hope I love it. These are also Korean stories, as I just read on here. So if you want to know a little bit more and also about some of these stories in here, there you go. The head follows a woman haunted by her own bodily waste. It sounds so weird but cool. The next one's a graphic novel by Key O'Neill, who wrote the Tea Drank Society trilogy, and this is her new book, The Moth Keeper, and I don't know if it's a standalone, I think it is though, and it follows a moth keeper, that's all I know. I don't love the art style in this one as much as I did in the Tea Drank Society. I read the whole of the trilogy, loved them, and yeah, I didn't really want to read this, but now that I got it for Christmas, I will, of course. Maybe it'll surprise me. So yeah, I don't really have a lot of graphic novels, so it's good to have one if I just need to read something quickly in between other books. So this is what it looks like. Has a very beautiful spine for sure. And on the back it says some more about the story. And that is what it looks like inside. The next one's yet another Gregory Maguire book. I'm slowly but surely collecting all of his books at this point. So this is Mirror Mirror, quite an old book. It's a retelling of Snow White, but I think set in the Italian Renaissance, following Lucrezia Borgia. So it sounds like the perfect mix. I love fairy tales, I love historical fiction, love the Italian Renaissance, and the Borgias are super fascinating. Not a family I would love to be a part of, but it's very interesting to read about them, watch documentaries or movies about them, so I'm super excited about this retelling. Gregory Maguire so far has only written atmospheric, slow-paced historical fiction books that I really enjoyed, so yeah, I have high hopes for it, and I just always love his covers. This one also has a cutout in the middle where we can see the naked hardback, which is Snow White on it. I just love this. Love to detail. So this is... that one looks like... spine. Beautiful. Author picture on the back. And... It's the naked hardcover right here. And the synopsis if you're interested. The next one is a Stephen King book in some way, but it's written by Ben Vincent and just talks about Stephen King and his life, his work, all his inspiration. As it says on the title, it's a very long book, but also with all kinds of pictures in it. And yeah, I'm just really excited. I think it's been quite a recent book release, so I don't know, I'm just excited to learn more. I've never read any kind of biography about the author, so I am I don't want to say fan, I don't want to be a fan of anything, but I really enjoy a lot of Stephen King books, so I hope I can't go wrong with this one. And this one is the German special edition by Coppenrad of Jules Verne's 20,000 Miles Under the Sea. Never read it before. I got this one for free because my mom had duplicate copies of it. So yeah, really happy about it. I really want to read it before I read the Rick Riordan story that is inspired by this one. So yeah, it's going to take a lot of time because this is a thick book, let me tell you. So yeah, Coppenrad always brings out very beautiful editions of classics with special stuff in there, like letters that are thrown in there that you can open and read, and a few illustrations here and there, just to make the reading experience a little more interesting. And in a similar vein, we've also got Frankenstein by Mary Shelley in an illustrated special edition. This time it's illustrated by Jean Coulthard. Jean? Why am I French all of a sudden? It's John Coulthard. And it also has a translucent dust jacket, so I just had to have it. And the illustrations are also very atmospheric, very fitting to the story, I think. Next up is the box set of the Hunger Games trilogy and also its prequel, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. It's just special in the sense that it has beautiful covers, that's it, and a beautiful box. But yeah, I didn't own these books in English before. I've read them in German when I was a teenager, I think. So I just wanted to reread it in the future, wanted to have the English copies for it, so this is the perfect gift. And I haven't read the prequel yet, so I'm also excited about that. And that means I also haven't seen the movie yet. So a lot of things on my to-do list for it. But yeah, I really like these editions. Next book is The Book That Wouldn't Burn by Mark Lawrence, and heard great things about it, love the cover. I also own some other books by Mark Lawrence, but I haven't read them yet. And I mean, at the top, George R. Martin says how good it is, and it also says in the inside, if you like dark, you'll love Mark Lawrence. So yeah, sounds like I'll really enjoy it. And as a book lover, we always love stories that center around books, so in this one we have a magical library, and that's all I know. It's a fantasy book. It has a library in it, and it's by Mark Lawrence. What else do I need to know? And then I also got the paperback version of the, I think, 4th book in this series, which is a Married to Magic novel. And it's always about different characters. I think it's always human females who fall in love with a magical creature, let's put it that way. It starts with a deal with the elf king, so she falls in love with an elf. And I think there's one about a vampire, and about a fae, and this one is about a siren, so I'm really excited about it. I love that cover, very, very beautifully illustrated. And I mean, it's just romantasy, so we've got a little bit of a fantasy plot in there, I guess, but it focuses on the romance. The next one is Snow White's Dark Kiss by Stephanie Lusthaus. This is a German book in its original language as well, so it has been published in German first. No idea if there's a translation or if it's even planned, but these are very much written in the vein of Christina Henry's fairy tale books. And the author has come out with one other book before that I also own but haven't read, which was about Frau Holle. I have no idea if there's an English translation for that fairy tale. I mean, there probably is, but I don't know what it would be called. And this one obviously features Snow White, so I hope these are dark retellings with very original and new ideas in it. But yeah, haven't read them yet, but I love the idea behind it, and the cover is also very pretty. So in this one we have a mysterious fog that is just spontaneously appearing, and people are missing. So it sounds quite interesting. This next one, In These Hallowed Halls, which is edited by Mary O'Regan and Paul Kane, is a dark academia anthology by all kinds of authors, some well known, some less. So always love if anthologies have authors in there that I have heard of before, I loved books from before, but that they also have authors in there that will be a new experience for me to discover more authors that I might enjoy in the future. So yeah, it's very unique in the way that it is only about dark academia. I don't think I have an anthology just about that yet, so I'm really excited about it. Love the cover, and yeah, don't know what else to say. This next one is a non-fiction book in German, which is all about Japanese woodcuts, so it's more of my art reference books. I do collect a lot of them, so yeah, this is just one more in my collection. And it's about a topic that I don't really know much of, so I hope I'll learn a lot. And it's just in general super pretty. All kinds of knowledge, all kinds of artists, and of course all kinds of pictures as well. Then we have this beautiful Fairyloot edition of Fall of Ruin and Wrath by Jennifer Almanac. I have a video showing you this edition, and this is, I think, the first time that I use a reverse dust jacket as my normal cover. So yeah, I just had to have it. I love the cover for some reason, although I don't love if people are on the cover, but this one's an exception for sure. And never read anything by Almanac, but maybe this one will be my first. And I also got the, I think, third book in that series, Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber, which is the series that I think takes place after the Caraval series. I still need to finish that one, so I can't start reading this series, but I am quite excited about it just because of the beautiful covers. Caraval has been a mixed bag. I enjoyed the first book, didn't really like the second one, so I'm not sure about the third one, but yeah, I hope you enjoy these books because they are just super pretty, and now I own 3 of them. So yes, no idea what they are about, but they are probably, again, very magical and probably more of a young adult fantasy as Caraval has been, but yeah, we will see. And then I have Erika Johansson's retelling of the Nutcracker called The Kingdom of Sweets. And it says it's a dark retelling of the classic tale, so really excited about. I also own The Queen of the Tearling series by Erika Johansson. Haven't read it. Who is surprised at this point? But yeah, I recently read a Nutcracker retelling and really enjoyed it, so I'm excited about this one. Maybe I'll read it for next Christmas. I think that would be the perfect time to read that. So yeah, also love the cover and really happy about owning it. And then there's another mythology book here, which is a retelling of Perseus and Medusa and Athena. And yeah, we've got a lot of retellings about that already, but it is Claire Haywood. So I hope this is going to be refreshing and with a good writing style. So I am excited about it, and I love the cover as well. So yeah, as I said, can't have too many mythology books. So as it says here, it's also about Danae and Andromeda, so in that way it is quite unique. And yeah, I've loved Daughters of Sparta by Claire Harewood. Gave it 5 stars. New favorite, so I hope this is going to be just as perfect. And then I have House of Many Ways by Diana Wynne-Jones here. This was supposed to be from the new editions that just came out, but I don't know, for some reason it's the old normal cover that I think everyone has read if they've read the book in English. So yeah, I didn't own it before, so yay, but it's not really what I wanted, but I'll keep it because I like the series. And this one also has illustrations, which I think my edition does not have. And then this one is In the Heart of the Lindenwood by Ekta Garg. And this is an atmospheric, it says on the back, but I don't know, fantasy book, which is about these magical trees that are very valuable because you can use the wood for a lot of good things. I have no idea. And it follows the king who just lost his wife and his child, I think. So he's mourning that, but he also has to go on this quest and adventure to find out why these magical trees are dying right now as well. So yeah, that's the story behind it. I love the cover, so I had to have it, and I hope I'll enjoy it as well. The next book is Garlic and the Witch by Brie Paulson, which is another graphic novel, and this is the sequel to another Garlic book. I don't remember. I don't think I even have the first book, which is a shame, but yeah. At least I have the second one now. I just love the idea of this little garlic character. He looks so cute, or she, I don't know, it's probably a she. And the art style in it is just very precious, and I'm excited to see what the story has to offer. I think it's going to be a very cute and cozy adventure, but who knows? And this next one is Blood Over Bride Haven by Emma Wang, which is a standalone fantasy, yes, and it's also dark academia. So I think I've heard great things about the author. I'm very excited about this one. I don't know anything else about it, but I like the cover, like the premise of it being a standalone dark academia, and when I read it months ago, like the synopsis, I was intrigued, so I put it on my wish list, and now I have it. And the next one is the 4th book in the Tales of a New World series. Maybe. I mean, it says on the bottom of the cover, but I have no idea if that's correct. So this is Earth Called by PC Cast, who has written the House of Night series, which I enjoyed when I was younger, so I'm collecting almost every book by the author. So I hope this is going to be fun. I'm not expecting anything too serious, just a fun ride. So I have all the other books in that series as well. Didn't know that there would be a 4th book, but yeah, apparently there has been published one, or I wouldn't have it now. So yeah, it's a bit different, or it's just a different edition that I got, because the other books were very shiny on the cover, and this one is very matte. But yeah, I don't care, the covers themselves match, so it's alright. Haven't read the series at all, and I have no idea what it's about. I think shapeshifters, maybe? I don't know. But it looks beautiful. I liked House of Night, even though it is kind of trash. I don't know, I enjoyed it. So yeah, I do think that this could be good as well. Who knows? Then I also got the Jazad Air, no idea, by Sarah Hashim. Again, I have no idea. And this is, I think, the first book to a series, and it's fantasy. And I know there's been an Illuminate exclusive edition some time ago. It's not the newest book ever, but yeah, I always wanted to read it. Sounded quite interesting, and I mean, the cover is phenomenal, but I didn't really hear a lot of things about it, so maybe it's not that popular. I am excited about it, nonetheless. Oh, and this is actually the Illuminate version. I got it as a gift. Didn't remember, but yes. That's the special edition. And this one's another fantasy book I have no idea about. The Stars Are Dying by Chloe C. Penaranda. Yeah, I have no idea what it's about. I got it as a gift, and that's all I know. And these next two books are just the normal hardcover editions. Oh geez, my voice is vanishing. I've been talking for quite some time, and I'm also sweating, but we're almost done. And yeah, these are just the normal hardback editions of The Wrath and the Dawn and The Rose and the Dagger by Renée Ahdieh. I haven't read it, but it's Arabia-inspired, so I'm really excited about it. Imagine these covers having cutouts. That would be super pretty, but yeah, alas, it's just a dust jacket. But yeah, I have no idea. It's young adult fantasy, set in Arabia, I think. Yeah, 1001 Nights inspired probably as well, and that's all I know. And this, as we've earlier talked about Christina Henry, this is a book by her, which is the German edition of Near the Bone. I think I also own it in English, but I'm not sure right now. But these German editions, they all fit together. They look very, very nice together on a shelf. And I don't know, I like these covers. They also have interesting sprayed edges. So yeah, I kind of collect them in English and German. But I have no idea what this one's about. I think it's a original story, not inspired by any fairy tale or legend. So I'm really excited how a Christina Henry that is not a fairy tale retelling will read. So yeah, I got that one. Now this next one sounds super cool, and I mean, again, it has a very, very cool cover. It's The Sin Eater by Megan Campisi, and it's a historical book, but it sounds very dark. Right under the title it says, "Can you uncover the truth when you're forbidden from speaking it?" And right here it says, "An old adage says that there are really only two stories. A man goes on a voyage, and a stranger arrives in town. This is the third. A woman breaks the rules. Sounds very cool. And right here, Emma says it's dark and thrilling and turns a dystopian eye on the past in a unknowably contemporary way. Sounds super intriguing. Beautiful end papers as well. And yeah, this follows literally a sin eater. So she has to eat the sins of people that are dying. So that's just weird. And because that's not really something that is being looked up at, she is exiled and has to live at the edge of town. So yeah, not really a nice life to have. And then White Cat, Black Dog by Kelly Link is a collection of stories that are supposed to be modern fairy tales. We've got 7 in there. Of course, it has to be 7. It's the magical number. And it's also a little bit illustrated. A cannabis farm run by a team of hospital cats? What? Okay, sounds interesting. And I mean, the illustrations are limited to, I think, 1 illustrations at the beginning of each story. The next one is The Book of Myths and Fairy Tales, which has 78 inspiring stories from all over the world in it, and it's written by Yoshi Yoshitani, and it also has a lot of illustrations in it. So this actually accompanies a tarot deck, so if you have the tarot deck, I think you have all the illustrations on that, and this just gives you background information to all of the characters that you have on your tarot cards. And since this is a very short book with almost 80 stories in it, these stories are very, very short. I think just 1 page long, and then 1 page is the illustration of the character. And then I also have another illustrated book, which is Mythos by Stephen Fry, which has been originally published just as a normal hardcover with non-fiction text by Stephen Fry in it, where he talks about Greek myths, and I think myths in general a little bit, and how they originated, why are they being told, what are these myths about. And it's a very, very funny non-fiction book, because I mean, it's Stephen Fry, he is a comedian, so it really comes across in his writing as well. Loved Mythos, and there are also other books in that series following Greek myths again. So we have also Heroes, which just talks about Greek heroes, and then we have Troy, about the Trojan War, and there's also supposed to be coming out one about the Odyssey. So yeah, it's a very, very cool series if you're into myths and want to learn more about what these legends are all about and what some of the things in it mean, how they are connected and whatever, all kinds of interesting stuff on it. And now there's an illustrated version of the first book in that series, which is this, and I just had to have it. But it makes sense to have both of these editions, because Mythos, the not illustrated version, also has in the middle a lot of, well, I don't want to say artifacts, but there are pictures or photographs of art and just objects that he talks about in his non-fiction book, and this illustrated version doesn't have them in it. This really just has illustrations, not photography of anything or art from art history. So yeah, let's take a look inside. And we're almost at the end now. So this is the third illustrated Harry Potter book, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, by the Minolima Company. And these are just very, very beautiful editions of the book. The covers are absolutely amazing. Love the spine, and in the inside we've got a lot of illustrations and also a lot of special stuff that you can turn around or just move a little bit. So yeah, these are just always so pretty. At this point I should have every single classic that they published and the other Harry Potter books as well. So this is one of these special things. Maybe it's a pouch you can open, I have no idea. And it has just so many illustrations in there. And the spine is also cool. And then the next trilogy is The Mask of Mirrors by M.A. Carrick. Heard amazing things about it. I think it's very Venetian-inspired fantasy. So that's basically all I know, but yeah, a lot of people have really enjoyed these ones, and they are very thick fantasy books, so hope I'll love them as well. And yeah, it's getting quite dark at this point. I hope you can see the books. I don't have any kind of artificial light that will help in this room, so yeah, the sun is going down, so I need to be quick about these last books, but as I said, we're almost done. I think there's only 5 books left. So I also got these 2 books, which I should have videos for on my channel. The one on the left is no, they are both Fairyloot books. I got confused there for a second, because the right one doesn't have the real dust jacket on. So the left one is the young adult Fairyloot book for December now, right? No, November. It's November. So this is the Scarlet Alchemist. Has a new cover on it, but yeah, I talked about it in my other Fairyloot unboxing video. And then the one on the right has the Illumicrate cover on it, but it's the special November Fairyloot edition underneath it. So yeah, that's the adult one, and really excited to read both of them. The one on the left is again Asian inspired, so I always love that. And I also am very intrigued about Cassandra Clare's adult book that is supposedly outside of the Shadowhunters universe, so yeah, very exciting. And the next up, I just got the normal hardback version of A Study in Drowning by Eva Reed. There's a Illumicrate version out there that I know of, but yeah, I'm not subscribed to Illumicrate, just Evernight. And yeah, wanted to have the book was really interested in it. I am interested in every Ava Reid book, I think, at this point, but I haven't read a single one. And yeah, quick change of scenery, just because there's more light over here. This is what the edition looks like. And it says right here, it's a love letter to stories and to everyone silenced, forgotten in their retelling. Some beautiful end papers and a synopsis. So there's fairy tales in it. Lovely! With a fictional fairy tale book called Annotated. Nice. And Dark Academia. Also very cool. Rival students. Yes, and then there are dark forces, both mortal and magical. Yay! I'm excited. And then, let's just finish the book haul right here on the floor, why not? This is a very short horror book called The Cockroach King by Andrew Cull. I would say it's not even a novel, maybe a novella. So yeah, love the cover. Just insects forming the cover. Nice. And this one is about... We'd been in the house 2 weeks when Tommy pulled the first bones from the garden. When Cassie Baker buys the house on Cedar Street, it's partly because it reminds her of the house she grew up in the 80s. It reminds her of happier times when her mum was still alive, before the cancer had taken her. It seems like the perfect place to raise her baby boy Sam. That is, until a friend unearths the remains of a dog buried in a shallow grave in the backyard. After the bones come the cockroaches. Oh yes. Hopefully it's disgusting. And then the very last one is also, well, I would say horror. It's again from Festa, and this is a collection of Shirley Jackson stories. So we've got The Lottery in here, which is the only one that I've read before, and then a lot of other stories as well. And it's such a beautiful cover. It's a shame that it's in German. I would have loved to read them in English, but yeah, it's alright. I hope they are good in German as well. And yeah, got all these stories in here. Super exciting. Didn't know that she has written so many. Yeah, that's basically everything that's special about this edition. So this is basically Dark Tales, which has been published in 2016 before. Interesting. And that's it. My bed is now filled with books. Just lying around everywhere. Yeah, need to find some places for these books now, which is not going to be fun. And yeah, this is my filming setup. It's just a bunch of puzzles. Oh my god. And that's where the books were. So yeah, a little bit behind the scenes as well. So yay! I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in my next one. It really did take forever to film, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed it and discovered some interesting books maybe in here. So yes, until the next video, happy reading everyone, take care, and goodbye!